Hey friends, okay, so today's video, I'm gonna share with you how our family has started praying the rosary for the last 3 months and how things have changed drastically in our family. I'm hoping this video encourages you to do the same because the benefits of praying the family rosary are just amazing, and I'm really excited to get into this video. A little backstory: I have been wanting to pray the rosary since before we had children, me and my husband. I grew up with my mom who prayed the rosary every single day, and I thought that was so amazing that she did that, and that was something that I really wanted to do with my whole family. We didn't pray the family rosary growing up except for every Sunday. Every Sunday as a family we prayed the rosary. And so I knew that I wanted to do that in my family as well. So we did the family rosary every Sunday in our family. And I suggested to my husband, maybe for Advent, that we could do a full rosary every day of the family, just for Advent. And so he agreed to that, and I was very excited because I had always wanted to pray the rosary as a family. And to be honest, my husband was open to it before, but we have really little kids. My oldest is 11, but my youngest is 2, and there's 5 kids, and so that can be kind of chaotic, to be honest. I think anybody could understand. That could be like a lot of chaos, right? And so anyway, I think it was a great time for us to do that because we're like, we'll just do it for Advent, see how it goes. And Advent came and went, and we decided to continue doing it. And the kids at first were like, wait, Advent's over. And we're like, yeah, but we're just gonna keep going. Like, I feel like this is a part of our family now. And so it's been really amazing to do that. And so I'm just kind of get into like what has changed, why the rosary has been so good for us. There are several reasons why. I think the first thing is praying as a family. I think that praying as a family, we've always done that. So we've always done like our petitions, what we want to pray for, and then we would go into an Our Father, Hail Mary, Glory be. So that's how we started, and then we went into the decade of a rosary. So I really wanted the kids to kind of know how to at least pray a decade of the rosary. If they were out by themselves somewhere, they could pray a decade of the rosary by themselves. So so it moved to like a decade of the rosary. I think we did that last Lent, and we just kept doing it. Like, that's kind of the key, is like, oh, it's Lent, we're gonna pray the rosary. And you can start now too. Like, you can always be like, you know what, this is what our family's gonna do. So why the rosary has been so good for us is, number one, it teaches the children how to pray the rosary. I think that sending our children off to the world, whether they go to college, get married, whatever they're doing, they're gonna come to a point in their life that they are going to need prayers. They're going to need to know how to pray the rosary. And St. Padre Pio says that the rosary is the most powerful weapon in the world. And so when our children go out into the world, we want to arm them, right? And they might not leave our house being a Christian. They might actually be anti-Catholic, I don't know. But there might be a day that they come back to the faith, and the rosary will help them with that. At least they can always remember this prayer, right? Like, that is the goal, is like, we hope that they pray the daily rosary after they leave the nest. But even if that doesn't happen, someday there might be some way that they need these prayers. They want to know how to pray the rosary. And so I think teaching the rosary to our family, and also the Divine Mercy Chaplet is another one that I feel like they need to know those before they go out into the world. So that's the first thing, is like, we're teaching them how to pray the rosary. So the things that I've seen in my family since praying this rosary are, it's very interesting because there are things that I've been praying for each child since forever. I feel like I've been praying forever for these things, but once we started praying as a family, I've noticed my children actually, those prayers coming alive. You know, I've seen like a stronger obedience in my family. I've noticed that there's a lot more grace, that our kids get along a lot better, that there's just so many little things that have happened for my family since praying the daily rosary. So that is the biggest thing, is I feel like praying all these prayers with my children, and I don't necessarily pray them out loud. We all do go around and say our intentions, but I just am very vague about my prayers for them. But in my heart, I am continuing to pray for each one of them in very specific ways. So that is huge. Part of what we do is we'll sit down as a family and we'll be like, okay, what day is it? Today is Tuesday. Okay, what rosary do we do on Tuesday? Because every day usually has a different day, unless you're doing the rosary novena. And even if you don't follow that, that's okay. Any rosary is fine for any day. But we're kind of getting them engaged to like, what is the rosary? And so they'll be like, it's the sorrowful mystery. Good job. Okay, yes, today is the sorrowful mysteries. So then we'll ask them, okay, what is the first sorrowful mystery? And so they'll kind of think about it. And then hopefully someone will know what it is. And, you know, they'll say it is the agony in the garden. And so we'll talk a little bit about that. And then we will pray the first decade. And so we have these, which is awesome. It's like all the different mysteries of the rosary. And so we have visuals because we have little kids, and that has been really helpful to have visuals. But then we'll have all the different kids go around and pray a decade of the rosary. And that way they're learning how to pray it. They're learning how to use their beads. And it is phenomenal. I'm not gonna lie, there are days that the rosary is not as easy as other days. There are days that the kids are good and they're quiet and they do well. There's other days where they don't. And I have to remind my children to sit up. We're praying. This is a time of prayer. We're trying to be reverent here. You know, part of being a parent is teaching these different things to our children, right? So some of the tips that have helped me and my husband when we pray the rosary as a family is, we have a 2-year-old, and there are nights where she's awesome, and there's nights where she just wants to be center of attention, and you know, she loves getting into everything. And so we've noticed that we will get the kids 100% ready. So all their homework is done, they've taken baths. If it's bath night, they'll brush their teeth, they'll go potty, they'll do everything. We'll put Maria Grace down for bed most of those days, and she will just go to bed, and then the 4 older kids will pray the rosary, and it's so much more peaceful. And there are times where they kind of aren't behaving very well, like sometimes one of my children, and so I'm like, do you want to go to bed? You can either pray with us or you can go to bed. And he always like straightens right up, you know. So so that's wonderful. The awesome thing about praying the family rosary is that all of the children are very sleepy afterwards, and that has been a mini miracle of itself. And so after the rosary, like they just are so tired, exhausted, and they all go right to bed. And so it's amazing, because usually I'm like, okay, go to bed, you know, I'm ready for the night to be done. So that's why we do it at night. There have been a couple of times where it's super busy day, and so we get home really late at night, and instead of the full rosary, we'll do the Divine Mercy Chaplet. So that's another thing I really want my children to learn before they go out into the world, is the Divine Mercy Chaplet, that they would be able to pray the rosary and the Divine Mercy Chaplet all by themselves. And so that is one thing that once in a while we'll do that. Also Fridays you can do this, or Sunday you could do the Divine Mercy Chaplet. So you could always do that, kind of switch it between the rosary and the Divine Mercy Chaplet. I think it's so powerful to know both of them. Another tip that I have is, if you have little kids, even up to ages like 8, I would highly recommend not having chain rosaries, because they fall apart so easily with little kids. So I love this rope one. I got this from Stay Close to Christ. It is by far my favorite. I love the way it moves and all that. But you can also use these. A lot of churches just have these little plastic ones that you can make sure the priest has blessed them. And these are great too, because those are usually free in the back of the church. Or a lot of Catholic churches have, it's called the Legions of Mary. So it's like a group of women who pray the rosary and have a Fatima statue, and they'll let it go to different families, but they usually always have these. And so after Mass, they usually have a little place that they set up these rosaries. So highly recommend getting a rosary that is not chained. One more tip that I highly recommend before you pray the rosary is just make sure there's a clear spot wherever you're praying. Our prayer room was a little messy the other day, and so it's just a lot of clutter in there. And so we went down to the basement basement where I have a couple other like sacramentals, pictures of Mary and Jesus and the cross down there. So, and it was completely clean down there. So I was like, you know what, let's go down to the basement. So we all went down there and it was fabulous. So I just encourage you to have a clean space where there's not a lot of clutter, where it's easy to pray the rosary, easy where you can meditate. And so those are my tips. I highly encourage you to pray the rosary. It is such a game changer. Even during Lent, you could start now, be like, you know what, the rest of Lent, we're gonna just pray a rosary as a family. And then maybe after that, if it goes well, or if you're feeling called, maybe you could extend that to forever. It's up to you. You are the head of the household, you and your husband, and you get to decide, right, how you get to live your life. Now, I will say my kids didn't give a lot of pushback. And some families, I think, do have a lot of pushback. So you want to like be careful too that you're not like just pushing it on your kids. That's something that I've noticed, like, it's fine because it's part of a rhythm, but you don't really want to push them. You know, you just want to encourage them, be like, this is going to be so awesome, and just really get them involved. I think that's another thing, and let them know that, you know, Mary, we're asking Mary to pray with us. So Mary is here with us, and that is the whole point of the rosary, is we are asking Mary to pray with us. That is huge. So she's going to be in the room with you while you pray the rosary. And I think just telling kids that is just kind of a next level, right, to think about that. So anyway, I hope that you enjoyed. I hope that you guys pray the family rosary. It has been such a gift to me and my family. I have a ton of Catholic resources. Even if you don't know how to pray the rosary, you can pray with me. I have videos on it. I have printouts where you can like follow. I have the different mysteries. I have so many different resources on my blog. I will link it down below so you can just go over there, print it out, or watch the video, whatever you need to do. But praying the rosary as a family will change your family. It will bond you. Mary will protect you. And I just encourage all of you to do it. It's been such a game changer for our family, and I hope and pray that it is the same for yours. So anyway, until next time, I will see you all later. God bless. Bye.